November is for contenders.
Hey.
Ohio State is heading into it unbeaten. Win number 8 in the bag for the Buckeyes, 24-10 at Wisconsin. We are back in the Horseshoe Lounge at Roosters. It is time for a fun, casual chat at a fun, casual joint. That is Justin Zwick, Bobby Carpenter, and Nicole Cox. I'm Austin Ward. Bob, how did that win make you feel inside?
About a half-point shy. I feel like James Franklin may have teed it up and kicked the field goal there at the end of the game.
Yeah. It made you feel inside like it was a half
just
point
about
shy.
a half point short.
Depending on where you were at in that game, where your head was at and where your wallet was. I mean, I was there, but it was a little get together for Halloween. Some of our neighbors came by, so hanging out. So I was kind of watching the game back and forth, having conversations. So I went back and watched the 60 for 60 they do on Big Ten Network the next day, and just to make sure I felt we're good about everything. And there was some good, there was some bad in that game. I mean, you're playing on the road, a fairly hostile environment. Berm at the beginning of the season had circled this game as big red letter potential day for the Buckeyes, and they survived it and they won. It's 14.5 point line to win by 14 points. The people in Vegas are pretty smart for a reason. Could you maybe have scored a little more? Possibly. Defense played really well again. I mean, outside of the 29-yard QB run,
Yeah.
I mean, by Braden Locke. Yeah. Outside of that, I mean, would they have like 60-some yards rushing? I mean, the numbers are boosted because of that, but I thought they did a good job. Obviously, Braylon Allen gets hurt, so, and he's not very effective even when he was in there. And I thought Ohio State got a little shot in the arm with Treyon Henderson.
Oh, gosh.
His ability to get to the hole and then find it, accelerate through it. He obviously had the clincher there at the end. It was a terrific run that kind of everybody sigh of relief, like we're good now.
It's
2
over.
touchdowns. This is it. Finally put it away. The offensive line blocked better in the run than they did in the pass. Kyle didn't play great, but he was under siege a decent amount, obviously, and then Noah Mecca again as well. So then Julian got nicked up. I mean, I thought for everything considered, who you were playing, where you were at, you win by 2 scores, and that's about what you were supposed to win by. And you could be Oklahoma, you could be North Carolina. I mean, there's USC trying to lose games. I mean, there's a lot of other teams out there that have struggled mightily, and it feels like Ohio State, their defense has ruled the day, and that has kept them in every game.
You're just barely scratching the surface on those injuries as well. So
there's a lot there, but I feel I'm more optimistic on these injuries now than I was, let's say, 3 or 4 hours ago. Just some of the guys that had gotten hurt and not knowing the severity of them. So there's going to be guys that miss time, but I don't think it's hopefully nothing crazy substantial at this point.
All right. We'll monitor that moving forward, Ryan. They will update the media on Tuesday. Maybe won't provide any updates. We'll see, because there was some more shenanigans going on there on Saturday with the Mecca Ibuka status, and he wound up not playing, which again is a pretty big deal for the offense and puts more weight on the shoulders of Marvin Harrison. But Nicole's favorite player on the team, Marvin Harrison, answered the challenge again.
You looked great. You really did. You really did. And I think it's just different watching it. I actually love it. I just remember watching, last year, the year before, and the star players. And I am so proud of this team because I see them working. I feel like each one of them is working together. Like they all, as someone gets hurt, someone comes in and steps up to the plate. And when people are slacking in one area, the other area like picks them up, like offense and the defense. The defense has just been picking up the slack, and that's okay. It's awesome. That's like what a team does, so it's been really fun to watch. And Marvin Harrison did play great. And it was just so awesome seeing Treyon back out there, because it's been a while, and he looked great. I mean, and I loved the plays running up the perimeter. It was different, and I think it kind of threw them for a loop.
Oh, Xavier Johnson.
And then
and so did Treyon.
Up and around.
He
I
made it
like
up
those.
there too. Yeah.
And then it set up the counter when Treyon busts another big one. So Nicole feels good about it. Jay-Z?
I feel great about it. Now, it's not beautiful. It didn't look great, but it was a big win against a good team. I think Luke was going to have those guys playing. I won't say scared, but I think Luke's going to turn that program into something that we're going to have to deal with here in the Big Ten, depending on how it all works out, I guess, who we play. But on the road, first time since 2000, we've beat them by double digits. We haven't played up there a bunch, but still, it's a tough place to play. So coming out of there with a 14-point victory is good. We are who we are right now. It's not as if we just had been scoring a ton of points and came down and had a 24-point win or offensive game. That's who we are. And we let the defense go out and do their thing. They've been great. And then the offense figures it out because there's always seems to be a law in these games. Like you start out hot, law, finish good. This one was more of a law. I felt a little bit longer than I would have wanted, but in the end, Kyle makes plays when he needs to, and we come out with a victory. He's undefeated. What more can we ask for?
I was just going to say,
going
we're
into
undefeated,
November,
guys.
we're undefeated.
We are undefeated.
We have, in my opinion, one of the best resumes in the country. I mean, a couple of top 10 wins, on the road, one of them tested, and I think we're just going to keep moving forward.
Yeah, I expect so. Tuesday night will be the first release of the college football playoff rankings, and they don't matter. First of all, let me say that first and foremost. If Ohio State is undefeated, guess what? They're going to the college football playoff. I know that Bob loves to dive in and say, well, let's figure out what this selection committee, what they really prize, what they value. Is it going to be strength of schedule? Are they an eye test committee? That's Bob's favorite thing. Every Tuesday night, he gets so deep into the weeds on that.
I look at the teams you beat, teams that have lost, like as far as fall spots and how that looks. And it's always, here's the thing. They pick their top, they put their teams in order, and then they pick the evidence they would like to use, whatever metrics or stats to back up.
Reverse engineer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, strength of schedule. Well, then it's game control. Then it's worst loss. Then it's best win. I mean, use a different one for every one of them. So I'm like, what does it really matter? So it's all good.
Will Ohio State be number one on Tuesday?
That'll be interesting. It's Ohio State has the two best wins.
They sure do.
If you look at who has the best win, you could probably say Washington, given the fact that I'm guessing Oregon will probably be ranked pretty high. They'll probably be the top rated one-loss team. So they would have the best win. Then you look at what Washington's done the last couple of weeks.
2 weeks, yeah, they've squeaked a couple out.
Won a close one where they couldn't score, and then they've won a close one where they couldn't stop Stanford. These aren't good teams. ASU and Stanford have a combined, 3 wins? I mean, they're not it's not even like a middle of the road average. It's
not even a Wisconsin.
Yeah.
If that's us against those teams. It's a lot different across the country than it is with Washington.
Absolutely. It wasn't like it was, an Arizona or like a, UCLA, someone who's a little further back, maybe even Washington State. I mean, this is a Stanford team that, if it wasn't for a Herculean comeback against Colorado, they may not have a Pac-12 win. So, and I don't think anybody thought they would get one. So that's what's kind of interesting. Georgia, it's like they've kind of meandered around, looked average. All of a sudden, struggled against Auburn, kicked the crap out of Kentucky, looked a little average again, and then kicked the crap out of Florida. So I think that Florida game may put them back up near the top. Michigan's going to have probably the best game control of anybody, but they haven't played anyone.
Mm-hmm. And UNLV is their best win, right?
Yeah. I think
they cracked the top 25 last week at 25.
Yeah. So I think it's going to come down to Ohio State, Michigan, or Georgia, and it's how they kind of look at it. Has Ohio State been in control of maybe every game? Probably not to the same degree. However, there's always
playing better competition.
Yeah, play a much better team.
I don't think we've been in a game where it's like, well, maybe Notre Dame. I'll give you that. 3rd and 19. Yeah. I didn't have a great feeling about that game ending up the way it did. But,
like Penn State, you watched that game. Yeah. You would say the game control on Penn State really good. Wisconsin, all these teams.
Jay-Z, what is Berm doing over here?
I don't know.
He took my water and just went all like this on it. And then I decided I wasn't going to drink after that.
I could have handed it to you. I didn't know you needed it.
I didn't know what was going on.
I was just going to suffer through.
Yeah, you looked rattled.
Yeah,
I didn't want to go to you to the next question.
Well, I went to go like this, and he's over making out with my cup.
There you go.
So, okay.
Yeah, anyhow, sorry.
It's a fun casual chat.
Yeah.
I think Ohio State will be 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise you if they're 1, but I don't want to be 1. That's not an enviable.
Yeah, I don't mind coming in at 4 and just saying, hey.
No team has ever, I think, started first and actually made the playoff. Is that what it is?
It's a curse. I don't think
we need to talk about it. Just don't talk about it.
Maybe won a championship.
Nicole says,
just don't bring it up.
Nicole, you want to be number 2.
And how they treat Michigan. I'm curious with that.
Yeah.
Well, let's see how the Big Ten treats Michigan. I think that's more pressing than anything else before the College Football Playoff Selection Committee.
Well,
because the committee is going to look purely at the football results, and they're not going to be able to say if the thumb was on the scale or not, even though the evidence is all supporting that. Boom, or up, I guess. However you want to point out, up or down, right? You pointed to the ground for run plays. That what Schlegel said last week.
Typically keeping it on the ground.
Anyway, that's up to the Big Ten. The NCAA, the punishment for Michigan, that would drag into next year with the investigation. The Big Ten is the only one that can act. There are many, many people within the league that think that they will. We'll see what transpires there. But they're.
Do you think is there a push within the conference to act? I mean, as far as the
Kind of have to.
coaches and ADs go?
Yes, I
Okay.
would say that there is. All 13 teams are involved. They want a level playing
That's
field.
insane.
The
Did they ask
broadcast
USC?
partners,
Did they ask USC? And
they're not
UCLA?
involved yet.
Yeah.
USC and UCLA, they're not actually allowed to make decisions for any conference,
Hmm.
period. Broadcast partners also want the integrity of the game for the sake of their.
You know who else wants it?
Yes, Vegas very much
Vegas
wants it.
very much.
That more than anything, that group is as upset as anybody.
I have heard that there may be some pending action coming from some of those folks as well.
There's pending action coming from everywhere. I wonder what compromise they will land at. You know, in these situations that they don't want to punish the actual players, but that's pretty much unavoidable because the entire sideline seemed to be heavily involved in this.
Didn't know
So
what was going on.
anyway, that's we could talk for an entire hour about that, probably way more. But instead, let's talk about Ohio State and some Roosters Buckeye leaves, and we'll start with Nicole.
Let's talk about the love that Roosters was getting on.
This notebook
McAfee.
is jam packed over here, by the way.
You're so sweet. There's a lot in here.
Yeah.
There's a lot in here. And Bobby, thanks for bringing that up. It's so nice of you. Yeah. But guys, I watched the whole game, the entire thing. I watched it on Sunday nights. So
The rewatch.
the rewatch, because I didn't get to see it. I was at a concert on Saturday night, so I didn't get
concert?
to
Who'd
see
you go
it.
see?
I just went to a little Christian concert.
Lauren Daigle.
Yeah.
You don't want to drop.
I
the
was kind of
names?
upset.
Yeah,
I wanted to go
I
because
didn't
I would
know
have
if
liked to have
anybody
seen
would
him.
know. She was awesome.
She's-
She's so
her voice
great.
is
I
amazing.
love her. So it was really, really good. And then, I got home and I was like, okay, we won. That's good. So that made me feel good. But I even all morning I've been thinking, who am I going to give my Buckeye leaf to? And you guys might not like this, but I'm just going to give it to the entire team.
Jeez,
Hey,
we've lost our minds.
Just the
That's
entire
team
team.
win.
What a team win!
That's
Up
like-
at Camp Ranch.
It's
That's
like-
too far.
You
Schlegs
guys-
might have named the entire
No.
team by the time.
Yeah, you at least have to name everybody now.
Okay, I'm
You
gonna
can't
I'm
just
gonna
umbrella
throw
that.
So
some
reading.
things out.
Yeah,
So in all these notes, I mean, I'm like looking through because there were things from so many different players that. And Marvin Harrison, he beat Garrett Wilson's record for what was it, the receiving yards. So he's 9th, I think, in Buckeye history, which is amazing. So congrats to him. It was great seeing Treyon, and then, but also Treyon not being able to make those runs. It's also the guys blocking. I mean, everybody was just playing the way they needed to and stepping up when someone else couldn't. And so I don't know, maybe it's just me, the way I'm watching it, but I just feel like we're doing a lot more of that than we have in years past, maybe, as opposed to, I don't know.
I think we're deep. I think they're deeper. So when guys go out, it's not as noticeable of a drop off. So you're correct in saying that.
100%.
So I think Emeka was out, and then Julian went down, and guys were stepping in and making plays.
And
So
doing a great job.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to watch. So that's why I just said everyone, like there was a defensive canoe that was out there that they threw out
Hero.
there.
I was gonna.
Yeah.
there's a hero.
Yeah, and he just
Comes
he had a
along.
great play, and
He can be your hero.
Does he have the strength to carry
So,
on?
guys, I've got so many notes in here.
I
don't
know,
even
let's hear
where to.
This is the only place that
I
you
love it.
have to
And
put them out into the world, Nicole.
Josh Simmons, God love him. He has the
Most penalties
Yep,
of any type.
yep,
Yeah,
which
that's
is in,
good on him.
Hey,
Gonna be good at something.
yeah.
Be good at it.
You know what? He's excited. He's excited. He gets so excited. He starts too soon, but that's okay. I mean, and then Denzel Burke, he had a few good plays too.
Great
and,
to have him back.
No, it is.
Yeah. So I really do give it to everyone. And Kyle, he's still trying to figure things out. And I love that you pulled Stroud's stats last week and saying so people can remember, Stroud was a hero at the end, but at the beginning, he was basically at the same level
Well, they
Kyle
wanted
is.
him benched after 3 weeks, I
Do
believe.
you know
Mhm.
that in his 9th start,
And he's doing great for the Texans. I just want to throw that out
sure
there.
is.
Yeah.
CJ went on the road, his 9th start. Little banged up team at wide receiver. Threw 2 interceptions. Couple turnovers. They went up beating Nebraska by 9. West opponent on the road late in the year. You got enough starts under your belt. You should be perfect. You should be flawless. He has to go into the post-game press conference, and then people jump on him because he said, "I'm not a running back. questioning his
I
decision
remember,
making.
yes.
Should he run and get some? That was
where
was
we were
start
just a couple
number
years
9.
ago.
Big Ten West opponent
Thank
on
you.
the road.
See, like what I did last week, going and checking that out.
Now he did throw for over 400 yards thanks
Well,
to Jackson
yeah,
Smith and
well,
Jigba's genius
well,
after
yeah.
the catch, but a couple turnovers in a tight game. The similarities are there.
And it happens, you
It
know, like
does
the
happen.
mistakes happen, and that's what makes you better, because you learn from your mistakes, and that's what it looks like all these guys are doing, you know. So we're learning to limit the explosive plays, and like Jordan Hancock, I've really enjoyed watching him too.
100%.
Nicole, can you just start covering the game for me with this notebook?
Hey guys, I was really into it. I told
I
you.
love it.
I told you. You know, Jordan Hancock, he had an awesome play. I think it was in the fourth quarter. He just was watching the ball and
Oh, he almost
made
picked
it.
that.
Yeah, and you could see him. He didn't touch the ball or anything, but he kind of spooked the the Wisconsin player.
Happy
Because
Halloween.
He came flying across to
Happy
try to break
Halloween.
up the pass, but for him to be able to watch that and read the play and to just go for it, I mean, I like that they're being decisive and making decisions. It's fun to watch.
There's nobody left. Nicole took the
It
whole
is
team
fun
away,
to
so I
watch.
don't know what you can do.
I know that's not a good thing, but they deserve it. They
Oh,
deserve it
100%.
because it's fun watching them learn from their mistakes, and then also watching guys pick up when other guys can't, you know, do their job. So
Yeah.
All right.
Golly. I'm going to go
I didn't mean to describe
with
every
Trey.
player.
No, it's all good. I'm giving mine to Trey. My first one to Trey. You know, I've been a Mayan guy,
You
but
have
watching that game,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay. Like,
There's
I
the
mean,
difference.
he looked 100% healthy. He looked explosive. I mean, he was the difference in that game for us on the offensive side, I think. So I'm going to give him one. Kudos to him. I hope he stays healthy, because if we can keep that explosiveness the rest of the season, I think that's huge for us. I was going to give a shout out to Hero, because I thought, you know, in the middle of the fourth quarter he's in. I mean, that's
Yeah.
serious. That's game time, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
And he was in there, and he's, you know, made a couple plays. Looked like he, you know, belonged.
He
That
did.
he can be in there and doing that for us in big time. So it's nice to have that, because Tyleek can't do everything, even though he had another monster game.
Tyleek played well.
Oh, he
He
did.
did. He did.
So I mean, it's
too.
nice to be able to, you know, give him a break and trust the guy you're going to put in and that sort of thing. And I'm going to just give one to Marv, because four games in a row over 100 yards. It's been a while, I think, since that's been done.
Yep.
You know, everybody complained. It almost feels like going into that game, they're complaining about, oh, they're using him too much. That's all they have. And it's like, well,
Who's
what do you want
complaining
us
about that?
What do you want us to do? He's the best player in college football. We're going to find ways to get him the ball. And sorry,
I'm
that you
not
think-
sorry.
well,
Sorry, I'm not
exactly. Yeah,
sorry.
sorry, I'm not sorry, because he is. I mean, it's just funny how it goes, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
if we weren't throwing him the ball, then it'd be like, well, they're not using their best playmaker, blah blah blah. So it's funny, but 4 in a row. I hope he keeps going. You know, I think he could have a shot, depending on how many games we get at the end of the year, to maybe be at the top of that list for receiving.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he will have a
He's gonna be
shot
close,
to
yeah.
to get to
To New York.
potentially get there, and I think he'll be going to New York based upon how a lot of guys played. I don't know if there's a clear-cut Heisman favorite at
No,
quarterback,
and-
so Marvin will be able to play his way there. I'm going to go with Tyleek. I mean, Tyleek, I thought did a great job, played really well. He had a sack, you know, in the backfield, TFLs, you know, did everything he needed to do there from that standpoint. There's a bunch of other guys, could probably name, you know. I think Lathan didn't play. I mean, he obviously got hurt and went out, but when he was in there, he was playing really well. So I'll give another one to Lathan Ransom with what he did.
That was the best game by far that I think Jack Sawyer has played.
Yeah.
I-
yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Jack
You know
was
what? I
second
like
on the
that,
team in
yeah.
tackles. So
Yeah.
you take
Yeah,
that.
He
he
played
did.
well last. He had a few great plays
It's-
last week
He
too.
did. He did. But in terms of sustained
Yeah.
Mhm.
production and pressure, I thought that this was the best that he's played. He has never been short on confidence, but he seemed a little frustrated in the first month of the season. You know, Byrne would talk to him occasionally, like coming off the field, we'd see him like, well, they're not asking him to go after the quarterback on every snap. They had other responsibilities, but
Mhm.
he wasn't winning a ton of one-on-one pass rush situations. Like let's just call that like it was. It was not as what you wanted to see from a former 5-star. All of us have known him for multiple years and expected this to reach the next level. And even in training camp, it was like, well, Jim Knowles and Larry Johnson were saying he's ready to explode.
Yep.
The way that they described it.
Ready to
That's
explode.
right. When you get to that moment, you don't want to delay it, but it did.
Oh.
It delayed
Delayed
gratification for Jack Sawyer. It was some tantric defensive end work, and now he's unleashing
Kama
that.
Sutra book.
Well, you know, just I'm doing some reading, Bob. That's You got to learn. You can't stop learning.
Can't
That's
stop
key.
learning.
That is
You gotta
key.
keep going.
And Jack Sawyer, I mean, this is what we've all been waiting to see from him. Finished with 6 tackles. I think was credited with just maybe the 1 sack, but he was in the backfield, it felt like, all night long. So Jack Sawyer, he gets the Buckeye leaf from here for sure.
I love that.
And he loves
He
Roosters
deserves
too.
it.
So
Yeah.
when you grow up in
All the guys
Pickerington-
are so great. Yes. But he deserves it. I think he's worked I think all of them have just worked so hard. And all the guys that have been injured too, like they deserve Buckeye leaves. I mean, that's why I gave it to the team. There have been a lot. I feel like
Sorry,
we've
Oprah
had,
over here.
I was
I
gonna
feel
gonna
like-
throw the training
EQ
staff
guy,
out
the
there.
EQ guy had him
You get
ready
a
to
car,
go. I
you
mean, the
get a
whole
car,
team,
you get a
everybody.
car. You guys
Buckeye
know I would do
leaves.
that if I could. But I really do think I just don't feel like I didn't feel this way last year that we had this many injuries over and over again with different guys. I don't know. Like I just feel like every game like our top players are getting hurt, but then we have someone right behind them coming in to, get the job done.
Well, that's what makes November a real test for
That's right.
contenders.
That's right.
'Cause there's
I've got a
bumps
lot to
and-
say about that too.
Do you?
Yes, guys. I just want everybody to start preparing themselves for the Michigan game. And now
Already?
it's one game
Whoa,
at a time.
here we go.
One game at a
Nicole,
time.
there
Now
are
looking
3
ahead.
games left.
One
God,
game at a time.
We gotta go
She's
to
One
Rutgers
game
this
at a time.
weekend.
I think
Rutgers
Rutgers
is
is the
bowl
real
eligible.
trap game. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, that is I was
Ooh.
looking
bowl
up.
Oh, but you're
eligible.
talking
Hey,
about
they're
Michigan.
doing well.
bowl eligible
Bowl
with
eligible.
the S Rutgers.
If you were doing the bowl trip giveaway for Rutgers, you'd be able to now.
What's a bowl trip
Pass it.
giveaway?
What is
Bob?
that? What are you talking
So
about
here,
there, Bob?
you see these nifty little napkins, the Roosters bowl trip giveaway. That includes, there will be 12 lucky winners,
12.
each getting 2 tickets to the bowl game.
Deluxe.
Airfare,
Deluxe
Wow.
hotel
deluxe
accommodations,
accommodations,
airfare, and other great prizes. You can go to
Roosters
Roosters
swag.
Wings, Roosters Swag, roosterswings.com to
Love it.
register, or you can use this sweet QR code. I guess it's also on the screen
Yes.
Yeah.
that they're seeing as I'm pointing to it
Berm knows how to
somewhere
do it.
around.
And
So
then if they
Berm,
come in tomorrow, Bob, what's going on?
appetizer threes day on a
What?
Tuesday, onion feathers
Ooh, come
with
get your,
Love it.
with the
Come shake your tail,
plucking
bud.
sauce, which is my
Feather sauce.
favorite. No,
Yep.
we're still
I'm
keeping it
okay
original.
with plucking.
It's so good, lightly battered.
I don't
crispy
always
onion
eat
feathers.
fucking sauce.
That's what I called it when I was in the stores.
Yeah.
So
No.
I
You
think
just,
that's
I
fine.
just wink at him.
Who's in charge of marketing here?
I'm not sure.
I'll write a letter.
Did they let
What's going on?
Did they let you change the description on the menu too? Is
I
that
don't
part
get
of
to
your
do
job?
that.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any say on the menu.
So we have to find that person.
I'll bring him in.
There we go.
Onion feathers, and then you can come watch the game
Oh, yeah.
Saturday
Yes.
at noon on
Mm.
CBS.
Mm.
Okay.
So no problem.
This will
there
be the
with
first
Peacock.
time we played on CBS in how long?
Since September.
Who are the
Wait. Did they play?
Played Indiana on CBS.
Oh, was it?
who are the broadcaster
Did we?
It's typically
I guess I
Who are
was
the
at
comment-
that.
Blackledge.
No,
Is he not the noon? He's the night game.
I don't. I'll look. I'll confirm who they're going to
Okay,
be.
let
I
me
don't know, but it's
wanna-
not going to be the A team because there are some
Ah,
pressing
Yeah.
SEC activities in the afternoon. So you can come to Roosters.
Yes.
It'll
watch the-
open bright and early at
11
at
a.m.
11 a.m.
11 a.m.
Plenty of time to get your
Mhm.
orders ready.
Yes.
And then what's going to happen, Nicole?
Do you want my score prediction?
I absolutely do.
I was
But you
wondering
can.
if that's
You
where you were
can I
going.
mean, I don't know how much
There's
is in
other
the
things
notebook.
going on.
If
Let's
you have
go.
the-
Yeah.
If you have the
It's in
whole
here.
game script, all right.
It's right here.
Okay.
24-6,
20.
Buckeyes.
4-6.
Mhm.
I believe the spread right now is 17.
I think we're only going to score 20. Well, the right defense is good. They have the
Guys,
12th ranked scoring defense in the
no,
country.
every week I've been picking in like 30s. I was picking in the 40s, and now I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll stick in the 20s. Maybe that's just where we're at, which is fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
it's
A
great.
win's a win.
Winning 24-6.
Yeah.
You can do that every week, and then they give you a trophy.
You know,
There you
I
go.
just feel like,
a couple.
don't get me wrong, scoring a bunch is great, but if you're just smoking people and scoring 1,000,000 points, it just like takes away the value of
the
scoring.
touchdown.
You know what I mean?
Devaluing the
Does anybody
touchdown.
feel that
Devaluing
way?
the offense.
Like the dollar.
Does-
like
does
printing more
anybody feel
money
that
in
way?
their
It's
covers.
no
it.
longer.
This is a
Matters.
season designed to make everyone remember how great 2002 was.
I'm telling it is, guys. They're
This is a
working
lot better than 2002.
They're always working hard, you
That
know.
was rough.
So, but I don't know. It's just it's fun to watch.
All right.
Yeah.
What else is on tap?
I think that's it. Just register for the contest.
Okay.
Definitely. And what is it?
Do you do Thanksgiving catering?
November almost. we are closed on Thanksgiving, so everybody can be with their families.
I don't-
Bob,
that's
I think you should have caught on to that by this point.
He knows better.
No, but our gift card promotional start
Okay.
at the
Ooh,
end of the
now
month,
we're
at the
talking.
end
Now
of
we're going.
November.
That's
Okay.
But
Like
guys,
Black Friday.
yeah, hmm
Get ready for that to
it'll
load
be
up.
great. Yes,
Stocking
So,
stuffers. It's around the corner. We are Halloween
I
is
can't wait.
tomorrow.
I'm
and
so
then
excited.
Only 4 games left in the regular season.
Which
Two
is
in the
so
shoe.
Crazy.
It's wild.
That's
Two in-
it.
Two in the shoe.
All right.
Okay, guys, thanks for having me today.
Thank you for having us. That's Nicole
Sorry,
Cox.
I couldn't narrow it down
That's right.
to one guy.
She's got 24-6. She's got her Roosters Buckeye leaves, and we are going to take a break with our fun casual conversation at Roosters. It's a fun casual drive.
Roosters has been so fortunate. We just want to be able to give some of that back to the community.
They donate to organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long time.
They always go above and beyond to help support our foundation to further help veterans.
It's just a wonderful feeling to know that Roosters supports the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Welcome back into the Horseshoe Lounge. It is a fun casual conversation at Roosters, and Berm is here, so it's going to be even more fun and probably weirder.
Weirder. How could it get any weirder?
Yeah,
Brings
no,
a special
You've
element.
been part of the show for a long time. Berm.
Special element of weird. Bird
I'm
brings.
aiming for down the middle,
No.
straight ahead analysis, no shenanigans of any sort.
Let's see.
What do you want to be for Halloween, Berm?
Remember
Bobby
last year
Carpenter.
when he
Really?
Yeah.
You should have started
Okay.
working on
Did
that
you-
about 8 months ago.
Well, remember he brought that mullet wig.
Yeah, remember the Quinn wig I had.
So you're talking young Bob.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
Young
Okay.
Bob.
All right.
No, I'm not gonna do anything for Halloween. 'Cause I'm-
Nothing.
You're
No.
Scrooge?
Yeah,
You
I-
give
You're not
out
even going to
candy?
hand out candy.
I'm a Scrooge McDuck. I do not do Halloween.
Just turn your lights off and go hide
Yeah.
inside.
Gosh,
Scrooge
I hope
McDuck.
I hope
loves
kids
No,
egg
Halloween.
the
honestly-
sh- I hope the
honestly-
kids egg the hell out
Okay,
of your
what
house.
am I doing for Halloween? I will be at the Glass Bowl watching the Toledo Rockets. So
Ooh,
that's what I'm doing.
He
All
really
right.
buried the lead. He didn't want to say he was going to watch football.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
good.
I also wouldn't be celebrating Halloween were I at home.
He's going to dress up as a
Is that-
Jason Candle fan.
I'm gonna dress up as a guy who's gonna be freezing his off because it's gonna be like 35 degrees and snowing
Yeah.
like it is all the time that the Rockets.
You
play
kidding
on
me? It's been
Tuesday night.
super nice though until this point. So we've got to embrace the fact that it was 70 degrees.
Gotta embrace
Last
the
Tuesday, I
sun.
was walking around in the cutoff watching Ohio State practice.
Yeah.
This Tuesday, probably not as much. More
Well,
with
Saturday, I had about 4 layers on the field at Wisconsin.
I don't. Was it a 4-layer game?
It was 35 degrees, man.
Come on now. That's
Cold. If you're just standing there, if you're not
Doesn't seem
running,
that bad.
if you're not
Was
run-
it
if you're
wind-
not
was it
running around-
windy?
Four, four layers.
Okay.
Yeah, not 4. I mean,
35 degrees and no
That's
wind.
like a hoodie and
it's
a
a
jacket.
bitter cold. It's a bitter northern
It's
cold.
a bitter northern cold.
It did. We could feel it coming.
It was.
We knew it was going to
cold.
be on the way to Columbus because when we landed and got to Madison on Friday, it was around 68, 69 degrees. By the time the team arrived at 5 o'clock, it had dropped 20 degrees in like 5 hours.
Ooh,
Hey,
doggy.
Shoot, back in 03, that did that to us. We
Ooh,
went out for
Wisconsin.
warm-ups, and it was like 65. Went in, came back out, and it was, what, 35?
It was,
Rain coming
it
sideways.
was probably
sleet.
only about 40 to 45, but it was about a 20
Oh,
mile
it
an hour
was
wind with rain.
terrible.
It was the worst.
We all
It was,
came out with no sleeves on. It's like, what just happened to the weather?
talked to Rob
It was
Lachey.
so
We got any, hey, sorry, bud. Didn't
Sorry,
bring
bud,
the cold.
no, yeah.
Didn't bring the cold gear. Well, I'm freezing.
No,
and
that
right-
was one of the
right
coldest
now,
games.
it was brutal.
Oh.
It literally dropped from the time we went in to out, like
Yeah.
Zwick
Oh.
said, probably 65 to 45. And that wouldn't have been bad if it wasn't for the 20
Oh,
mile an hour
20
wind and the
mile winds,
rain that was
rain.
pelting us in the side of the
Oh.
face, which then it must have stopped
It
raining.
did stop, but
It stopped because then I remember it being clear when we hit when Lee
the
Evans hit
double
Chris with the
move,
out and
yeah.
up. That was a tough
The
one.
old out and up.
That's one of the painful
Anyhow.
moments. Painful.
That was a
But I
painful
didn't
one,
need
yeah.
to have 4 layers on.
No, but you were running around.
That's
You're
true.
playing the game. I'm
You run
standing there
around
on
a
the sideline.
No, you run around a lot.
It's
Swords, you
either
wish
way,
you wore a turtle.
either way, it was
turtleneck that
cold.
game.
Either way, it was pretty cold. However, first forecast for Saturday, 63 and sunny in
What?
Piscataway on Saturday.
You got to be kidding me.
It's supposed to be nice on
It's
Friday.
the
here.
San Diego of the Northeast.
Oh yeah,
That's what it's always been called.
people love vacation in
That's
Piscataway.
why they go there.
63 and sunny is what it says. Plus, there's sunny days on both sides, Friday and
Ooh,
Sunday.
little leap.
So
What is this, James Taylor?
This is Brim Cantori over here.
I can't wait. Can't wait. Stuff your face. Sunny days.
It's a good place to eat.
That I thought would never end.
Thank goodness.
That's
Uh,
phenomenal.
You can't.
Should I get my Buckeye lead?
Stuff Your Face is banned this week. Sorry, it's closed.
False.
Ooh.
You can just not. You can just
That's
not go if you don't
unfortunate.
want to.
What do you
uh,
stuff your face with?
It's a calzone place.
No, it's not. You
It's a
forgot what they're-
Stromboli. That's a calzone.
We go and we get boldies.
I mean, I call it.
Hey!
I just think
You gotta get the
You forgot the
boli.
boli.
Hey, buddy.
I mean, it's a calzone.
I'm gonna have
Whatever.
to have them bring me out. Like, can I just have the toppings, please? I need two cups
2 cups
of
meat.
vegetables and maybe
Vegetables,
some sauce.
You get some sauce
And
and,
some
dip
chicken.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're looking so svelte, Austin.
Yeah.
Very lean.
Well, I'm working on it. All right, that's all we can do, day after day.
Buckeye leaves.
Buckeye leaves.
Obviously, Treyon Henderson deserves one. I don't think people.
He looked
They
spry.
didn't
He
get.
did.
People didn't understand a year ago how hurt he was, and that's we've talked ad nauseum about whose fault that is and how it affected
I haven't felt sick at all.
the way that people felt about him last year, thinking he was not tough and
Mhm.
not whatever stupid.
Wait, not tough and stupid,
No,
or
it's stupid that people thought he wasn't tough.
stupid people talk. Okay, I was.
I'm not
confused.
saying
I thought
those
you were trying
people
to
are
say
stupid.
I thought you were saying he was stupid and not tough.
I'm not saying those people are stupid. I'm saying that's a stupid thought that those
Okay.
people had. But we've also seen that same stupid thought percolating in the last few weeks about Treyon because people don't understand that it's hard to play football with broken ribs.
Oh, he's just saying it now.
So like,
we're not even
hey.
hinting. We're not even hinting about it.
Like,
We're just saying it. Okay.
and he did it, and he finished the Notre Dame game with that injury and had a 61-yard touchdown run in that game with that injury. And obviously has not played since, but the Buckeyes really didn't need him until probably the Penn State game, but whatever. For him to come back, and dude looks super quick.
Yeah.
And you can just see the difference he makes in the offense. But
I'd give him another 3 weeks off if it looked that good against Michigan.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, it's
we
probably
probably
not
don't
a
need
bad
him this
idea.
weekend either. Like,
I don't know.
the way that the running back roulette has been playing out,
It's
I
not
think
gonna
you
be
just
100.
got to play who's ever able to play. And then defensively, it's sort of an emotional pick, but I think it's Lathan Ransom for me. Like,
I already took Lathan.
I didn't
can't
hear
have
you,
him.
but I'm
Yeah,
taking
he's
him.
my
What was your
second.
reason?
Just because he played really well and then he got hurt. But I mean, the way he triggered down on the goal line, went through there, pow, as Bruce would say, whammy.
you saying pow?
It's
To
got
me,
some John Madden's.
It's,
going on.
it's
Yeah.
the fact that
I
he
love it.
pulls up injured. It looks like one of those potentially scary Achilles type injuries, and you don't know what's going on.
He ran straight off the field to the bench.
Straight off
It
the
was so
field.
great. He's in pursuit, and then just kind of like limps over.
And then they put him on a cart, take him up to a ramp, put him in a wheelchair. He goes to the locker room.
Was this Paul Pierce?
He goes
It
to
was
the,
a Paul. It was a
Didn't
Paul
they
Pierce
carry him
wheelchair.
out 4 dudes?
well, because they had to run. They had to take it up a fairly pronounced slope, and so they put him
Yeah,
in
it
a
is a
wheelchair.
steep ramp there.
And they put him in a wheelchair. I mean, Adam Stewart runs to the locker room. Mick Marotti runs to the locker room. Xavier Johnson runs to the locker room. I'm like, this guy's dead.
What's Xavier? What's
What's
Xavier
he
running?
doing?
I think the
Second
last one was
opinion.
unconnected.
But I think
Second opinion.
Is he the
thought-
last rights?
I thought I wasn't sure if Xavier was just going to put some hands on him or whatever. I didn't know.
Let me get a look at that MRI there, Doc. What do we got?
Oh, Xavier have his
he's-
Bible.
You know I do
He's-
everything
no,
here. I'm the X.
He's blessed by the Blocko.
But they taped him up, and he came back just to watch the game on the sideline
Yeah.
and be there as the game ended. And to me, that sort of thing goes underrated. Like, you could be in the warm locker room watching that game and pouting if you
like
wanted.
Berm.
Come a long way from people walking off the field
Yeah.
to people coming back on to watch their guys.
You know, and you could have stayed. You could have stayed in the locker room if you wanted.
Come full circle.
That's
If you want
pretty-
to, if you want to know the difference in the brotherhood and chemistry
Yeah.
of this team compared to 2 years ago,
There you go.
So
throwing gloves and
Just walking off.
Lathan didn't want to take his uniform
No,
off.
he
Come
wanted to be
Pope
on
wanted
there
to
for
throw
his
into the
boys.
stand.
Lathan is, I would say, if you look at the defense, Lathan's like the leader of the secondary, and Tommy's kind of the linchpin in the middle. And those guys, and it's crazy because Tommy doesn't really talk. And Lathan, he's the most vocal guy probably on that defense. He's incredibly intelligent. Dude's busted his butt. He's battled injuries throughout his career. He's always been a very conscientious player, but he's the guy that helps get it done back there. I mean, the glue that, connects everything and what's going on. It's a fairly complicated defense. I was very concerned that he might be out for a really long time, like whole season. I don't believe that to be the case anymore. Which I'm like, if we can have you back in 3 to 4 weeks, that'd be nice.
I asked him walking off the field, I'm like, what happened? Because it didn't look good. And he's like, I have no idea. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that doesn't sound good.
That sounds even worse.
So, but he had a tough time walking off the field. He had to get help after the game to get out.
So I'm saying, you see a guy that can't really walk,
Mhm.
but Adam Stewart, like I don't know.
Well, he
what-
came back on. They put his shoe back on. I'm like, okay, if they're putting the shoe back on,
Yeah, if
it's
they're not putting him in a boot.
It wasn't.
Well, I wondered
Yeah.
if it was just a matter of there's nothing you can do for Lathan in Madison. It's like if you're not going to make it worse, if the injury is what it is, like you get through it, and he wanted to be out there with his teammates, then you have to get back to Columbus to have any of that addressed anyway. But I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so
Really?
Yeah, 100% not. But
You had me fooled.
it does seem like you're more optimistic than I was on Saturday.
I was
watching him.
sick to my stomach on Sunday, thinking if he can't play the rest, like a lot's going to fall on Sonny, because it was really nice. Sonny, a guy who's in his real first year starting, they flip him over, and he had all these different names with Juster and this and that, and they flip him essentially the Lathan spot because he's not really playing much because Jordan was playing so much at the slot. So it worked out really well, but a lot's going to fall on Sonny now to continue to be that piece while Lathan continues to, continue to rehab, which I think I feel much better about his ability to play in the future. Yes.
All right. What about the ankle of the most critical piece, centerpiece of the offense? Kyle McCord's left ankle. It looked like made it even worse on Saturday night than it has been. He's had this injury since Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think it
makes a lot of sense to me.
That's sometimes been overlooked. That even on a Wednesday night practice, that thing is still very heavily taped as he goes through it. You can't question the toughness of that part. And then I wondered in between the third quarter and the fourth quarter, he couldn't put any weight on it. They were looking at him on the sideline. Tristan Gebbia was warming up. I thought, well, they're probably going to turn to the backup to finish this thing off. It's getting that bad. McCord hops on the exercise bike. He goes back out there. He only throws one pass in the fourth quarter. It is a 15-yarder. That was still on point to Marvin Harrison. Treyon eventually puts it away with the run. I don't know the situation. I don't think that this thing is going to get better anytime soon. Is it a risk to put him back out there against Rutgers? Is that something that you have to do? Can it get better by Saturday? I don't.
I think that I would be inclined to think that he would play.
Yeah.
He doesn't. It's not like he's a guy that relies on his legs a lot. We did watch him scramble and go pick up.
And that's what happened. You're like,
when he reactivated it.
Awesome. They're like, no.
Someone seemed to dive a little late there at the backside.
Yeah, twisted
Maybe
up.
a little, questionable on some of that stuff. But I think it'll be something he's just going to have to deal with. And it's at this point in the season, like it's not getting any better. Hey, we'd love to give you 3 weeks off, buddy, and let you heal up. And maybe you see them getting. I think if Devin Brown was still healthy, you'd probably see them hopefully the next couple of weeks trying to get him some action. I don't know if you're going to Gebbia, whether you want to get, Lincoln some work, the Legend of Zelda in there. I'm not sure, but
that's why you have to come out and throw some haymakers early and put the game out of reach so that Kyle McCord doesn't need to play 4 quarters against Rutgers. It doesn't need to play 4 quarters against Michigan State or Minnesota. So, like, the Ohio State offense has seemed to be quite okay with just sort of plodding along, knowing that eventually they're going to get a big hit and the defenses can do their job. But, like, maybe come out and try to throw some extra.
Try to get go for it on 4th down. I mean, what do you want, Berm?
I want them to take points and actually get points instead of not points. I think the more points you get, the easier it is to win games.
Okay. Unless you're USC.
Well,
they get a lot of points and still barely win.
But I don't know. You look at this situation and you can't help but think, like, fourth quarter, Buckeyes, Treyon scores. It's 24-10. Why is Kyle out there the next 2 possessions? All you're doing is running the ball into the line of scrimmage and taking a knee on the final 3.
Yeah, but I mean, that's
probably his call. I mean, he knows he's probably not going to throw the ball. I'm just going, let me go finish this off.
Isn't it the responsibility of the staff say, you can't walk, so we're not going to put you out here to hand the ball off?
Yeah, but I mean, as a player, I don't know.
At that point in time, they know they're not going to ask him to do anything with that. Like, hey, can you hand the ball off? Yeah, I can hand the ball off. All right, we'll go hand the ball off. Let's get out of here. I mean, you got us.
You're playing against another team that still hits you and still wants to hit you, or you get your foot stepped on by the center who that's happened multiple times this year. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. At that point, the game is over. It's 24-10. Wisconsin gets their 4 and out. Like, you're just running the ball into the middle of the field. I don't know. That to me, like, seemed a little risky, but
JZ,
I don't know if risky would be the word, but I can understand what you're saying. Just rest him, get some ice on it right away, and just get him off the field.
When you look at that performance as a whole, whether you factor in the ankle or not, I mean, the first interception can't happen.
No.
Ryan Day took the blame off of him for the second one. We see 2 intentional grounding penalties. I think that the ankle is tied up in not the first one, but the rest. It's limiting him. I think that's why he's been a little bit inaccurate at times. And again, none of that is to make an excuse. It is just
it just is what it is, though.
The situation.
I mean, and that's one thing I've thought over the last few games since probably maybe after Notre Dame. It just felt like quarterbacks have a tendency to get lazy during the season with their footwork, or if they've been getting a lot of pressure, they want to be off their back foot, not trying to step into. I felt like there's maybe a little bit of that just with some of the balls. I think Western Kentucky was where we were maybe a little late on a couple throws, and the ball just didn't seem to get there like it had prior to. So it makes sense that he was dealing with an injury. I mean, that can affect you. Now, I don't know if it affects. He just seems to me, his pocket presence I don't think it's great. Now, granted, when somebody just gets flat out beat, okay, you're not expecting that, right? So I can understand. But there's like you just need to jump up into the pocket a little bit, and that tackle is going to stay on him and run him by, and you're going to be able to move out and hopefully try and figure it out. And I just think there's times where I don't, if he's so focused on downfield or doesn't feel that pressure and realize like I just got to get there, because it's just he's doing it, but he's just like, just get there and then you're going to be okay. And he's just a little bit nonchalant. He's trying to keep his eyes downfield and make sure he's seeing exactly what he thinks he's seeing, which makes him a little late on the ball every now and then. I think he's just so much in his head, not wanting to make a turnover. Now, I mean, the first interception was throw the ball away.
Yeah,
that's a play where you just know, if when I turn around here, nobody's open, I have nothing else, and I'm not going to outrun this guy. Just throw the ball away. The second one,
which is just puzzling because he has 8 intentional grounding penalties this year, and the one time when you're like, "Oh, this is perfect."
This is perfect time to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, the last intentional grounding, I mean, we just got flat out beat, and he just didn't know that guy. I mean, he didn't know that guy was coming undone, and by the time he could do something, he tried to throw the ball away.
Right.
So I mean, it's just our offensive line is still a work in progress. I mean, yes, they've run blocked better, I think, in the last couple of weeks. But they're still a work in progress. He's still a work in progress. He's had 8 games. I mean, it's time. He's battling through stuff. I love that he's battling and wanting to be back out on the field and wanting to be out there with his guys. But if it doesn't get better, I mean, at some point that can be a detriment to a team if you're not playing well. We'll see how he comes out, and hopefully in first quarter of Rutgers he can go and still sling the ball around and, like you say, start fast and then get him some rest and let whoever they're going to be as a backup come in and play.
You knew Luke Fickell was going to have like exotic blitzes and doing a lot of blitzes. Greg Schiano is going to do the same thing. So the question is,
the Schiano man.
So the question is,
play me a song.
How does that ankle translate to this week when Schiano knows now it's a potential issue? But also you can answer this for people who have a tough time figuring it out. As a quarterback, a right-handed quarterback, which ankle is your plant foot?
I mean, your right foot is when you're going to really get off your.
That's where you're generating your power from. But your plant
but then,
foot,
when you're stepping and throwing, it's going on. You're transferring that weight onto your left foot.
Okay, just make
so yes.
There seems to be a weird problem with people.
So it was
that.
JZ. It was described to me when it happened a month ago. It's like, well, this is important for him because that's where he's planting to throw.
Yeah.
And people said, well, do you mean the opposite? Are you an idiot? Do you not know what you're planting, and do you not know how to throw a ball?
Yeah, they're thinking of his draft, and that's where I went right away. But yes.
And I said, I don't know. I think the people who described it to me know a lot about quarterback.
And then there's that, and then there's also moving around the pocket. Maybe that's why he just seems to be a little bit slow, because he just doesn't feel like he has that.
It is hard to step up in the pocket 100%. With one leg.
Yeah. So there's that, But just as watching the game, just like just get there.
Well, it's stepping up into
urgency in a way.
Yeah, and stepping into it when you have that bad leg, like you are more gun shy about putting that thing out there and stepping into it when you
don't feel as good about just going like you normally would.
And I mean, they as well as the offensive line, I thought run blocked on Saturday. They
took a step backwards.
They took a step back. I mean, there were guys coming free runners, and it wasn't due to scheme or due to lack of guys. Yeah, they were guys just not picking up rushers, which they should have, which that cannot happen.
It's a weird combination of potential issues because you know that's coming. Now it's on tape. Josh Fryer struggles with that speed rush, but because Kyle McCord has been dropping back so far, you can allow the defensive end to take that angle.
And then step up, though. You got to hit the back and then climb.
So if you're not doing that, and that's where I think Kyle's had some issues. At the first sack on the 4th down and 3 or whatever on Saturday, if he steps up into the pocket, he has a touchdown pass to Marvin Harrison that's wide open.
Yeah.
And he just doesn't.
There's typically room in that pocket, too.
And there was. Yeah. But this is a situation where, for whatever reason, the slow starts continue to plague him personally. And so it's hard for the offense to get going early if the quarterback's not going early. After his second interception on Saturday, he was 13 of 15 from there.
He always figures it out. That's so wild thing.
And he did.
I don't know that you can say him personally. If he's not going to get as much help from the rest of the receiving,
certainly there's some drops and things that are happening in there that maybe you need to
things that
how many times
could go right necessarily aren't going right.
How many times have we seen that on an opening drive where it's like an easy throw and then it's put on the ground? Like, That was Julian Fleming at Purdue. We saw that with Marvin Harrison in that game. Like, even guys that you don't expect that to happen. The drive, the first interception for Kyle McCord, there's a parallel universe where either Julian Fleming or Treyon Henderson make catches, and guess what? It doesn't exist. Sometimes your quarterbacks, they're not going to make every throw perfect, and you have to help them out.
I 100%
Don't think
agree on that.
I don't think I'm asking too much on that.
And I mean, and for as awesome as our receiving group is, I mean, in the last 3 games, we have probably 5 or 6 drops. Like,
there's been
more
than CJ Stroud experience in the last 2 years.
That's what I would think.
And some of that may be because the timing is off with the quarterback a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get there, but the point is it's not clean, and there's something that still hasn't gotten there. They keep saying it's very close. It's very close. You now have Treyon Henderson back, and he's healthy. We fully expect to see Emeka Egbuka back this week. Julian Fleming, despite looking like he took another issue to the shoulder, will play.
I think he's going to be all right, but I was worried about him too because he's had shoulder issues in the past.
Carnell Tate is going. Marvin Harrison's ankle seems to be fine. There's no lingering issues there. Like whatever Cade Stover's issue is, maybe a little different. You know, he did not seem himself on Saturday either. So
he didn't get a single target.
He did not get targeted.
Yeah.
He was
going to be the target on the interception on the first interception, but he didn't get through the line.
He seemed to be just out there primarily as a decoy throughout the whole game, like throwing some run blocking. But even then,
the run blocking at times from that room,
it's been
not just Cade, but
it's every week. There's one little thing different. The offensive line takes a step forward and takes a step back in pass pro, like we're saying. Like it's hard to. I'm not putting it all on the quarterback, but the quarterback, when you have in the first quarter Marvin Harrison running a dig and you throw it 5 yards wide of him for some reason, like that's a problem because Marvin Harrison's open. You have to make those layups in order to feel confident shooting threes later. You know what I mean?
100%. That's what he does. He misses. That's
layups.
The inconsistency from camp, in my opinion, that Ryan probably talked about with both quarterbacks.
It's still there.
The layups.
He misses
last
How
week
many times
G. Scott, they bring a blitz and you're replacing G. Scott right there. Put it on his chest. Now I think G could have caught the ball.
How many times on the little wide receiver screen are we seeing that
100%
that ball
into the ground?
It needs to be thrown 14 yards and it's being thrown 12. Like those are the things where you that shouldn't happen. Now,
but then he'll come out and throw the comeback across the field from the other hash, and it's just like the one you go right on the sideline. You know, so it's like it's 100% there. It's just that times something's not right and it just looks bad. But he always comes and finishes the game strong, in my opinion.
I just hope for his sake that he doesn't need to finish it strong against Rutgers on Saturday, and he can be done by halftime.
All right, so
talking about the 12th ranked scoring
it's
defense.
A good defense.
In the country.
It's
ninth total.
So let's play our favorite game.
They beat Indiana with 39 passing yards.
How much concern is there that this is a trap game? That there is a concern?
Are you worried about Piscataway being the trap house?
I'm asking you.
Is Greg Schiano the trap queen?
I'm going to say
in this scenario.
This is very unusual for me. This is super
such a thing.
This is super uncomfortable.
Learn something new.
I think that Rutgers is the actual trap game.
Wisconsin was the trap game.
No, I didn't. I never said that. And Burm argued with me, and Bradley Robinson was in here, and
I didn't say it was a trap game.
Yes, you did. You said you circled it in January.
I thought it'd be a game that you would have a potential letdown in. That's not a trap game. You know, you're going to Madison at night on Halloween weekend. It's going to be.
Then there's no such thing as any trap game.
This isn't a trap.
Anytime you go somewhere, it's a game that you can lose.
This isn't a trap game because there's no one on the other side of it that you're thinking about instead.
I'm going to put the over under at 75 yards passing.
That's what we give up
for Rutgers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take the under.
That's great. They gave up 39 when they beat Indiana. Now, granted, they rushed it.
How many rush yards did they have?
275.
Okay,
it was like a service academy.
145 of it by the quarterback. So that's where you're.
They have two running backs back there, not a quarterback.
So 0.
If you don't throw for at least 100 yards,
Devin Brown
I'm not going
to.
So I'm going to say $125 on the ground for Rutgers. Berm. Over under. Where are we going?
Over.
You think so? Really?
Yeah. Because they're going to try and run it, right?
Just because they're going to try doesn't mean.
I like the quarterback, and I think that
But those guys can give us some. I mean,
he'll give you something. You know, they're going to have a lot of option crap that they're going to do.
Doodads.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of those.
Thingamajigs.
They're running. The receivers
will
have
a bunch of special team stuff, which is why I think that there has to be more.
Dixie do, Dixie don't.
He's got to be licking
with
his
or without
chops
the scooter
going
sticks.
against our special teams coordinator.
Their receivers will have more rushing yards than receiving yards.
Reverses, everything. They'll be ready to go. They'll be.
So what's the concern?
Will their punter have more rushing yards over under 25?
Under. 2 is my concern. I don't.
It's down from last
I think
week.
this is a good Rutgers team, and I think, you say that in a way that like it's a good Rutgers team.
Very patronizing, bro.
You
Wow,
know, like
this guy is
You guys
so
are really good.
he is
We
so
are gonna
disrespectful to Ohio State.
What a
opponents.
great year
It
you're
never
having, guys.
ends.
it's a good Rutgers team.
He's so
Pats him on the
disrespectful.
head. You guys are really good this
Ooh,
year.
It's a good
Ohio
Rutgers
State
team.
has to win every game, 100-0. Disrespect Burm over here.
It's a good Rutgers team, but
Jeez.
Ohio State is better, and it should not be a problem. Now,
By the way,
what I
how's
thought was
Maryland
interesting,
doing, guys?
what I thought was interesting on Saturday was Ryan Day after the Wisconsin game already sort of putting the bug out there, like we're gonna play like crap next weekend because he's like, well, it is a noon game. Everyone's like, what?
Oh boy.
Did you hear that in the post game? He's like, well, it's a good Rutgers team, and it's a noon game, right, Jerry? Like as if to go, well, we're gonna be sleepwalking through halftime.
Well,
why are you putting that out
I think
there?
he also wanted 7 extra hours to get his guys healthier, with their feet up.
I think he was just saying we're going to probably be asleep for a half
But it's on CBS. They played Indiana to open the season.
at noon.
Now, was it noon on CBS? Was it?
No, that was 3:30.
No, it was 3:30.
3:30.
It was in their
It
prime.
felt like noon.
It was their real slot. It had the traditional CBS team in there.
Sorry about that whole water thing earlier. That was weird. No, because see what happened was I thought that was my water because I was like, where the hell is my water? And so then I was like, wow, my water got really close to Jay-Z. So then I just reached in there and took it.
Why'd you start licking it then?
And
Yeah,
I
that was
didn't.
the
I
weird
just took a
part
drink
about
of
it.
it.
No, don't tell me. You're outside of the rim. It was weird. Like he thought it was a margarita.
That was off camera, obviously. I reached in and
It's
took
like
it.
Buffalo Bill applying
then
lipstick.
Outside the rim.
And then I was drinking it. And then Jay-Z looked at me like, why are you drinking my water? And I was like, oh, my water's over there. But because I had moved it to the other table.
Mm.
So that's what happened.
So that was that. Watergate 2023.
Watergate. I mean, that's the actual use of the Watergate is tremendous.
First time. That
What's
it's
your
ever-
worry?
What's my worry? My scale of this?
Scale of
Yeah.
worry.
1. I mean, here's the thing. Ryan, I think he respects Greg Schiano as a coach, and he was here, and he's always showed some deference to guys. But I think after last year,
Okay.
when
There
Greg's
you go,
like,
yeah. Let him get
okay,
there, yeah.
it's like your little brother. All right, I'm letting you stay in the game a little bit, and now you're gonna pull
This
all
is
this.
how you thank me?
Yes. Instead of me embarrassing you by 60, I'm trying to keep it cordial and maybe not cover and all these things, and it's gonna be a 4 touchdown game. And then you're out there faking punts and doing nonsense, sending all out pressures and all kinds of nonsense. So I think that Ryan, they will be ready to go.
All right.
These guys will be locked in.
I'm glad you encouraged me to wait till you got to the
Yes,
punchline
yes.
there. 'cause
Yeah, no,
otherwise I was gonna
Well, I
lose
think
it.
last year it was going that way. It's like,
Yes.
all right, and then
Then he tries
okay,
to block
dude,
a punt.
yeah, you're trying to block a punt. Because the other thing is that when you try to block a punt, there's also risk of like hurting your punter. There's a lot of stuff in there, and you never think about that. But if you're down by 28 points, I give Greg Schiano this: when he comes here, he does not come or plays Ohio State. It's not, hey, can I lose by as little as possible?
He's not Tom Allening himself.
Yeah, I'm playing this thing to win.
Yeah, we're
Which
gonna
that may be foolish as hell, but I mean, like he's not Mike Tyson. I'm gonna see if I can make it like 6 or 7 rounds with Mike Tyson. He runs out of the corner at Mike Tyson in 1990 and tries to fight
swinging
him.
right away.
And he might get hit and knocked it straight to the ground, but hey,
You might need a knife to shank some.
Yeah. you know what? He's going for it, and you got to respect that.
Nobody pedals the bike faster than Greg Schiano.
Nobody.
That is true. Jay-Z, what's your concern level?
I don't have much of a
Wait,
concern.
are we
here.
riding bikes before to the game?
Let's hope.
Well,
Then
You
it's
guys
then
better
it's
be
an 8 or
careful.
9.
get the juices going early before the game. Running some.
Our hotel's like a mile and a half away.
There you go. Take some bikes out.
It's not a safe
Supposed to be a
bike.
beautiful morning. You can just walk.
That's what I was told.
Mm.
I'm not walking though.
I wouldn't walk either. But I think we take care of these guys. I think Wisconsin was going to be a tougher test than going out to New Jersey just because
I'm glad.
the stadium and
Luke
whatnot.
Fickle would appreciate you saying that.
Different
yes,
time
fair.
zones and all.
Well, no, that doesn't matter.
It's,
I'm saying
I don't know,
I've never
just
been to
making-
Rutgers, but I imagine the stadium is not going to be the exact same atmosphere.
No, it's not.
Night game.
I was a little
nooner.
I like Rutgers
confused
Stadium,
by
though.
how late arriving the Wisconsin crowd.
Yeah, you said
was.
that. That's
The
interesting.
student section was 60% full at the end of the first quarter.
Really?
Yes.
Isn't that nuts?
All I hear
On
is
a
about
night game.
jump around and
Yeah.
how electrifying the atmosphere is. I loved the stadium. I think Madison is awesome. I'm going to give full marks to everything about
else?
the college town, but I don't understand why they didn't come to the game on time.
because they like that town so much.
Yeah, they're at the bars. They didn't want to leave.
There was not a person in that crowd who was not wearing an Ohio State logo that felt like their team was going. Wisconsin fans did not think that they were going to win the game from the start, and you could tell they were just kind of like, "Hey, football." So anyway, what are you doing? That like it was.
It's a lot different from prime time quintessential Badgers of like the 2000s.
I didn't think it was
90s.
loud in there at all on Saturday, and that was surprising.
But you have been there when it has.
Yeah,
been loud,
2016 it was loud.
Yeah, okay. Because there's a belief I think that they thought they could win.
Yeah, that did not. It never had that vibe on Saturday, and it won't have that vibe this coming Saturday. But I do think that this is a Rutgers team.
You don't say?
This is a Rutgers team that will be like, they want to prove that they're better, and
they made a bowl.
Right, they're in a bowl game.
eligible.
I feel like this is the program. We're going to a bowl.
They're 6-2. One of their losses they got cheated out of, so they should be 5-1. I mean, that game should be forfeited by Michigan, right? So they should be
You got
5-1.
cheated out of a win and went from 6-2 to 5-1.
Well, yeah, the game shouldn't count. So
6-1, you mean?
Neither one of them
6-1. Yeah, 6-1.
That's the win.
I'm not a mathematician.
What?
6-1 is there should be the record because Michigan should have to forfeit that game.
Okay.
So like it's a pretty good team. They're playing well. Give them credit.
You're the one that wasn't giving them credit.
Austin's always putting down the teams they're playing. Why?
I think that this is at 5 because Rutgers has a mobile quarterback that's going to put some pressure on.
Yeah, but if you know he's not going to throw,
you don't have to worry about him throwing the ball.
It's a noon start.
Or if they don't have like these receivers that we worry about.
Greg Schiano's going to have everything dialed up on special teams, and Ohio State special teams has been abysmal.
Terrible.
That's going to keep it closer than it needs to be. Ohio State's going to win.
Special teams were good.
Or maybe we're just been setting Rutgers up with bad special teams play for this game.
Very sneaky, Parker Fleming.
Hey, he makes the big bucks for a reason, baby. Let's go.
Everything's been.
I thought the special teams was better on.
What about the almost punt return they gave up in the first quarter for a touchdown?
Yeah,
I remember that.
Never mind.
I mean, it's not every special teams play is a train wreck. It's that there's 2 or 3.
Well, that's
the
thing about special teams.
There's
it
like eight of those plays
a
game, and if 25% of them are near disaster,
the margin for error is slim, and there's so much at stake in terms of not just possession but yardage. Like the punt is a very important play in football.
Someone said the most important.
And they're coming off a bye.
And they're off a bye.
Rutgers off of a bye.
They're going to have some.
I think that
they're going to have some trickery.
I'm telling you, they're going to have schemed it up. They're going to make it interesting.
I mean, 5 for 12 for 39 yards. That's the total. That is
average.
That is a total score.
That's because you don't have to throw it against Indiana to win.
Oh, they rushed for 276.
Well,
but
that's nice, but
I
still.
mean,
You don't have to?
No.
Drew Aller couldn't do it.
He did it. No, they won.
They barely did.
Well, that's because of gutless Tom Allen. I mean,
the guy had a chance to
win at
guarantee that he wasn't going to get fired or at least make a case.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I'm going to run 3 times and kick a field goal here. I'm good. I don't even want to try to score. That's silly.
You're down 23-20. You force an interception at the plus 30-yard line with 4 minutes to go, and you run 3 straight powers into the middle of the field to pick up 2 yards to kick a field goal to tie it. And then 2 plays later, you give up a 55-yard touchdown pass. You deserved he should not
that was
be
bad.
fired.
The end of it, you're right.
He should have been fired immediately.
He will be. Don't worry about that.
Fire him.
Him and Brian Ferentz can go team up. And
this is a good
coach
Rutgers team.
XFL.
This is a good Rutgers team. Okay, let's just be honest. It's a good Rutgers team.
See, Berm realized what he was doing. He was too negative.
I've said it from the start. It's a good Rutgers team, but a good Rutgers team is still not better than a mediocre Ohio State team, and this is not a mediocre Ohio State team. So, therefore, 18.5 or 19 points spread. Ipso facto, Buckeyes win 35-17. 35-17.
They give up 17
I don't.
points.
If they give up 17, I mean,
weirdness, man. There's weirdness.
Weirdness. What do you mean weirdness?
Like a broken play on an option.
You have a guy that like wears a Buckeye jersey and then takes it off like after during the play.
I gotcha. Give me the ball. Give me the ball.
This team
That's actually a really good.
They're averaging 10 points a game, and you think a team that threw for 39 yards in a college football game is going to score 7?
And I mean, the last 2 teams that averaged 200 yards on the ground, we've stopped and held to.
Okay, look, you guys can give me your score prediction. We're not here to argue about it. This is just my choice.
38-13.
13? You think they're going to score 13 points?
Actually,
and they've only given up 10, Bob.
Okay, 10. 38-10. 38-10. You know what? 38-9. 3 field goals. No touchdowns.
I knew that the shenanigans would arrive to the show. Berm couldn't keep it straightforward. all
Justin,
that.
you didn't give your score prediction.
42-6.
42-6.
Even better.
Can't believe you have
Because
the
they're gonna
Buckeyes getting
score
beat
and
by
go for
36.
You can see if these guys are right. Saturday at noon.
The
on
thing is, I
CBS.
could see
level
Greg.
midnight.
I could see it being a situation where like it's
Garbage touchdown.
yes, and like
And he's going to go for
push-
2, and it's going to be
like
just
pushing to go. You know what I'm saying? Like
I
there's 2 minutes
I
left.
got to give my
Yeah,
guys
end of the
faith.
game.
They work hard for me, and I'm going to give them that confidence
Yeah.
back.
Instead of just like running the ball out, him trying to like
We're going
actively
to score.
using a 2-minute offense. down
Trick
by-
play on the last play of the game
Yes.
to score a touchdown.
he would definitely do that. But we'll see if he will. Saturday noon, CBS, Ohio State at Rutgers will have all the coverage you come to expect all week on the podcast, and Berm and I will be in New Jersey for that one. It's everyone's
Which way?
favorite
With
road
some
trip.
bullies.
Piscataway.
We're driving to that one.
Don't start. All right. Thanks to Nicole Cox and Roosters for having us into the Horseshoe Lounge. This has been a blast. We'll be back to talk again next Monday in here. Thanks to Nicole. Thanks to Justin Zwick. Thanks to Bobby Carpenter. Thanks to Berm. I'm Austin Ward. Have a great week. We'll see you next Monday in here.